My boyfriend, 23, told me 20, that he wants me to die. We've had ongoing issues for a while now, but he's never said something so cruel. Yesterday we were exploring a country that I won't disclose during his work trip. Throughout the day he was stressed about various things. His boss was late and so he was already irritated and incredibly frustrated. To the point where I began to feel him take it out on me. In line for the train tickets when we were about to buy the tickets, he last minute changed his mind and told me to leave the ticket area so we could accommodate for his boss. When we were walking out I stopped for a second to see if he was following and he snapped and said, "Go." I understood he was frustrated and continued to walk and try not to piss him off more. Later on when waiting for his bosses I had mentioned that I wanted to explore the area since it was on my bucket list. He had mentioned earlier that he'd rather stay in the train station cause it was raining. I had said that the museum was something I wanted to check out and he responded by saying, "And where are we going to put the bags?" in a slightly irritated tone. I felt tense from earlier but instead of trying to start an argument I bit my tongue and moved on. He then got up and told me something that I could barely hear and then walked out with all of his bags and so I got up to follow him and he had seemed to disappear. Eventually I found out that he had gone to find us lockers. Long story short, he was continuously irritated throughout the day. I tried to reassure him by rubbing his back and telling him it was going to be okay and to try to control his anger cause I know he's had issues with controlling it before. Later on during our fight he expressed that it was condescending of me to do so. On our way back to the hotel I bought us some energy drinks from my country that I thought he would like. He said in a tone that implied I was dumb, "Why would you buy this? It's almost 8 p.m. I don't want an energy drink." I felt partially hurt and embarrassed because his boss and his wife had been right in front of us when this incident occurred. I just apologized and took it back as he said, "Thank you though." Later on during our argument he explained that he was thinking, what kind of psychopath drinks energy drinks at 8 p.m. So at that point, although I understand the ridiculousness of drinking one that late, I was fed up and just put on my headphones and tried to remain calm being that his boss was next to us. We hop on the train and head back and the entire time he tries to hold my hand and poke me and I just try to sleep out of frustration to not blow up. When we get back to the hotel he immediately goes, "Why are you acting like this?" And I told him I didn't want to argue due to our past fights being caused by me expressing my feelings and him not taking it well. He then went on this long tangent about how I'm starting a fight anyways by not speaking and about how I always do this. I told him how I felt he was taking his anger out on me. He didn't understand at all what I meant and blamed me for feeling the way I did by saying, "You take everything as an attack towards you. You need to be more understanding." I told him how he was blaming me for feeling upset and essentially his point of view escalated to anger towards me as a person. Saying things like I'm a bitch, cunt, how I don't try hard enough to understand his ADHD. He made me watch a video about emotional dysregulation and told me that I should be more understanding that when he says those things he doesn't mean it and that it's out of his control due to his ADHD. He told me I'm a terrible fucking person and that he wanted me to die and that I was too immature to be on this trip with him. He mimicked my crying and called me a crybaby. When I finally had enough and said I wanted to go home he said to not leave and that he didn't mean to say those things. I told him I didn't want to be with someone with ADHD if the relationship was going to be like that because I couldn't handle it. I feel so hurt, is this common? He's currently at work and I don't want to be here, but if I leave it's done. I want to be more understanding of ADHD but my brother has it as well and the constant belittling seems to be getting to my mental health. That's not ADHD, that's an asshole. ADHD is not an excuse to be abusive. It is his responsibility to not be abusive. It is not your responsibility to be understanding of abuse. That is ridiculous. Anyone would be hurt by how he treated you. These are huge red flags. You do not deserve to be called a cunt and a bitch just for having normal hurt feelings. If he can't even take accountability for his shitty behavior then he won't change. If someone can't apologize for hurting you then take it as a huge red flag. Run. I am sorry you are having to deal with this. Sad face. There is no health issue or circumstance where that kind of verbal abuse is acceptable. You can find a better guy than this one without even trying. It's a good thing that this guy is now your ex. Or at least should soon be your ex. There is nothing in your story that provides any redeeming value to him or your relationship with him. If I leave it's done. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Take that first step. Right out the door. Girl, I was reading your post and felt exhausted, so I can't imagine actually living it. You really don't need to put up with his BS. It's obvious he has serious anger issues and zero self-control. You're just gonna keep being his emotional punching bag. I don't think it's worth sticking around. He seems insufferable and I'm gonna bet he doesn't want to get professional help for his issues. A good relationship does not feel like this. If by ADHD he means abusive dick-head disorder, then yeah, he's all that. It seems to me that he's using ADHD as a cover-up for being an asshole. Why are you putting up with this? He sounds dreadful. He's acting like a toddler. Having a bad day, so what? That doesn't excuse his abuse. My 25F boyfriend, 25M, put a deadline on our relationship to improve myself. Too long did not read. My boyfriend of 3 years said that if I don't improve on intimacy, baggage, and looks in 3 months, he will end our relationship. I am already trying to improve. Should I try harder or should I move on? My boyfriend and I have been in a relationship for 3 years, and it has been mostly great. We don't fight a lot, have lots in common, and have similar enough values and goals in life. Lately, he has gotten really into self-improvement and being his best self by buying better clothes, going to therapy, and exercising. I am very happy for him and have been encouraging him to improve himself. I have also started working on self-improvement, but it has been a long journey. Throughout our relationship, I have gone through many issues: depression, anxiety, a rocky relationship with my dad, 2 psychotic episodes, and in more recent months, unlocked a memory of childhood trauma, molestation. I am no longer mentally ill, but I am now processing my trauma and moving forward. In the last year, I have lost 40 pounds, and I feel much better about myself. Even though I am still overweight, I am healthier and am at a place where I can say I am improving. I have a good job, take care of myself more, and try to exercise when I can. I have finally come to a place where I can love myself and my body for what I have, and I feel confident and attractive for the first time in years. However, that does not reflect well in my relationships. I don't have a high sex drive, and my boyfriend does. Part of me finds sex disgusting and shameful, but those are trauma reactions that I am working through. He would ideally have sex every day, but I can do around 3 days a week. I said that I could do more, but it would take me a while to adjust, especially since many people can hear us, which makes me uncomfortable. When talking about the future, boyfriend is a workaholic and insists that he will work while I stay at home and take care of the kids. I said that I don't want to be a housewife and want to be independent and earn my own money. Either to feel self-assured or to prepare for the worst. This comes from my parents' relationship. Dad was a workaholic, mom stayed at home. Dad was controlling with money, cheated, divorced mom, took all the money and moved across the planet. Being unemployed for 16+ years, mom now can't find a good job because she doesn't have enough experience. I am deathly afraid of becoming that with my already workaholic boyfriend who wants me to stay at home. But he says that I am bringing my trauma into this relationship and assured me that he is nothing like my dad. I believe him, but I always like to be independent and prepared, so I don't want to stay at home. Finally, we arrive at my looks. I have never been particularly attractive, and this has led to self-esteem issues that I am working on now. I have therapy, I keep up with hygiene, I take care of my looks, and I am still trying to lose weight. I have come closer to accepting myself and my body and improving what I can. But boyfriend says that he would like me to lose more weight. He says that if he can work 16-hour workdays, come home to exercise and eat, then he expects me to do it too. With the whole body acceptance movement and me being more confident, I thought that I looked good enough for him to find me attractive. But now, it's like what I knew and valued flew out the door. Should I work harder to improve myself and build looks and confidence, or is this a sign that I deserve better? Is this sudden realization of my bad looks a much-needed look in the mirror or the result of a bad partner? Any advice would be helpful. He's looking for a way out. His ultimatum is hurtful and designed to absolve himself from the responsibility of the relationship ending. After all, he reasons, he gave you a deadline which you can't possibly meet, particularly since there are no objective benchmarks. He'll be able to say you didn't work hard enough for the relationship. He deserves better and must leave to find someone more suitable. It'll be all your fault. Save him the time. Tell him his ultimatum reflects his lack of love and respect for you. He should go ahead and leave. He's self-improving into a terrible person. I'd move on. You not wanting to be like your mother and stay at home with kids is not trauma. It's simply knowing you don't want to be a housewife. Not to mention that it seems like his version of self-improvement seems to be translating into him also becoming an asshole. Who sets a deadline for self-improvement? No matter what you look like, find someone that wants to be with you and doesn't set some arbitrary timeline for improvement. You are working hard enough already. You've made amazing strides and you should be happy with yourself and continuing to improve. The fact that he has put a deadline on you meeting his standards is insane. He should be helping you with your goals, not pressuring you in any way. Tell him to shove his timeline up his ass and peace the fuck out of there. Here is what I took away from your story. Your boyfriend is owning work, owning his body, and now directing you to become what he wants on his timeline. Those may be indicators of someone with some control issues, and if that is the case, the longer you stay, the more he will attempt to control. People need different things from relationships, but very few people ever want to be controlled in that way. Be careful and be yourself. I recommend you ditch this man who can't accept you for the amazing person you are, and then look into working with a health and life coach who specializes in body image and esteem. I wish I had done this when I was your age, would have saved a lot of pain and hard lesions. Should you work harder to improve yourself? Yes. For you, and only you. Your man is an ass and you already know you deserve better. Your relationship is already over. He's just trying to make all the problems your fault before it's over so he doesn't feel guilty for leaving. My boyfriend said he would be more attracted to me if I was skinnier. Here is some background knowledge to the situation. We have been together for a little less than a year. When we met I was really skinny, maybe around 130–135 of a pound. I'm 5'7". I was really sad at the time and was barely eating, definitely not enough. I started gaining weight as I became happier. Now, I am about 140 pounds. I am still relatively skinny, just a little chubby. I have always struggled with my weight affecting my self-image. I have never been able to feel just right in my body. Always either too big or too skinny. Although I will admit it brings me more satisfaction to be skinnier, except for the fact that my butt and hips, thighs get smaller. He knows about these problems. Anyway, it began with one comment right when I started gaining confidence with my body again. Something similar to telling me that I have grown a little tummy. After this, the comments about eating healthier and going to the gym more are constant. For reference, he is a health nut and his body is absolutely perfect, abs, muscular, the whole shebang. He's been an athlete for years. I have started eating way healthier and despite that, the comments telling me to start eating healthy persist. It really gets on my nerves. He also makes fun of my slight double chin. I've started feeling really gross. If I know I'm going to see him, I'll try to look as skinny as possible. Maybe even not eat for a certain amount of time before I see him. He does constantly remind me how much he loves me and how beautiful I am though. Last night he called me after drinking with his friends a bit and told me that he knows these comments get to me and he understands that that's a weakness of his and that he is a bit of an egoist and that he would be more attracted to me if I was skinnier, but to not let it get to me, and that he is working on this weakness. Although he wouldn't be mad at me if I started eating healthier and went to the gym more. It hurts me so much. I am self-conscious around him now and pay so much attention to how my body looks at all times that it's hard for me to relax how I would if I were by myself. I feel so gross, like a pig. But I was looking pictures of myself earlier and he's right. I would be more attractive if I was slightly skinnier, even though I know that I am still skinny. Other people have told me that I look better now that I have gained a little weight because before I was way too skinny. I don't know what to do. Do you think I am overreacting or it's right for me to feel bad about this? Besides this, he is the absolute sweetest, most caring angel of a person I have ever met. I can't tell if he really just wants me to be healthier or is he not attracted to me because I am slightly chubby. I'm afraid that he looks at me and doesn't see the most beautiful human being, like I do with him. Instead I feel like he just sees my flaws, and it's really getting to me. I do know he finds me beautiful, but I feel he is disappointed with my body. In a way it's not what he signed up for. Should I change myself for a guy, despite how much I love him? I want to be with him for a really long time. These comments really hurt, at the same time I know I can be skinnier. I really just don't know. So you gained 5–10 pounds and he's done? I would run as fast as you can. 5 feet 7,140 is not at all anything close to unhealthy. All this over 5 pounds. Is this who you want taking care of you if you ever get sick, are in an accident, suffer an emotional trauma, etc.? Not to mention that you were feeling happier a few pounds heavier. What an uncaring and horrible attitude from a partner. To me, this would be a dealbreaker. Find a better boyfriend. Throw the whole man out. If he wants a health nut like him, he needs to go find one instead of making his girlfriend feel bad about her body. And you need to set a boundary and tell him that. He admitted to you that he knowingly says things that hurt your feelings. You are a healthy weight for your height. I would leave yesterday. Find someone else. There is no point of being in relationship if you're not happy. You deserve better. Like someone who understands that your overall health is much better than it was and who isn't going to constantly make little comments about you that are undeserved and frankly just rude. It's not like you suddenly gained 100 pounds. You gained 5-10. That's a healthy weight and you gained it for healthy reasons. If he knows it bothers you and makes you feel insecure about yourself and he still makes comments, then he's just an asshole. Also, it's common to gain weight as you get older, or have kids, or just live life. How's he going to react to natural changes if he can't even deal with this? My girlfriend, 18F, joined a MLM and is convinced it is not a pyramid scheme. Update. She watched the Amway video and is still wanting to go through with it. But she told me she would not take out any loans and will still continue school. So I'm not too worried for her right now. She is still upset that I kept bugging her about this because she grew up sheltered by her parents and she wanted to do something for herself for once. I get why she is upset, but I tried warning her and she told me she understands the risks, so I guess she will learn the hard way. Thank you all the wonderful advice. TLR girlfriend, 18F, joined a MLM and is not convinced she is in a pyramid scheme. She hasn't put any money into it, but it is taking up a lot of her time and I'm, 19M, worried she might have her priorities wrong once school starts back up again. My girlfriend and I, 19M, have been together officially for 2 months but have been talking before as really good friends for over a year now, and recently she was recruited for a business opportunity which would give her financial freedom. This gave me a huge red flag that it was a pyramid scheme, but she told me that she looked them up and they seemed legit. I let her go on with what she was doing because she seemed to like it. Once she moved through their selection process and learned more about how this company operated, she was able to launch her own business and supposedly start making money. I was fine with her doing all this until she told me what she was doing, where she would try to contact people on social media and see if they are interested in joining the same opportunity she was in. That's when I called that it was a pyramid scheme. I kept asking her to tell me the name of this company she is working for and is getting paid nothing for all the work she does. Eventually she gave in and told me what it was, but not before defending it, saying that it has a bad name because of people that failed in making it big with this company and it's just how it operates. When she told me it was Amway, that's when I knew it was bad. I asked her if she has given them any money or invested in them and she told me she has not yet. We are both full-time college students and she told me this would be her backup plan and not to worry too much for her. I respect her decision and trust her, it's just I don't want to see her get hurt from this. She told me the reason she got involved because she wanted to make time for us in the future. She told me she knows not a lot of people succeed in the business and there's a lot of risks, but I'm worried she might get too wrapped in this that she won't have time for school. I also showed her the pay scale and how it was much lower than minimum wage, but she still wants to try. Any advice on how I can get her out before she puts money into this, or of how to get her to open her eyes and see what it really is? There are lots of factual studies that have been done on Amway and prove it's a pyramid scheme. Only 10% of people ever make $1 in profit. Post this in r/anti-MLM. There are some good resources there and people that can give you some solid advice from their own experiences. I don't know if she would be interested in watching a video, but I sent this to a buddy of mine that got into Mary Kay and it helped her get the fuck out. Commenting after your update. Make sure you don't bail her out when she eventually needs money. Sometimes people get suckered into these things. Those people usually don't have someone around them telling them it's a bad idea, and showing them the facts, so the allure of easy money draws them in. But you're gonna make sure that's not the case. Emo, this is bigger than the MLM. If this woman can't digest the data that clearly shows her expected earnings in this endeavor are negative, it's fair to assume she may not be reasonable in other decisions. You have to decide if you are comfortable being with someone who, in spite of clear data, still makes bad choices. Break up with her. You don't want your kids inheriting 50% of her IQ. As someone whose parents have been in Amway almost for 20 years, it's a total scam, as you already know, but there's also a lot of brainwashing. This website, among its tons of other info, provides good reviews of the cult-like ways that Amway works as well as the financial aspects. Their products are too expensive and not good quality, So that's a problem by itself. I don't think showing this website as a whole to your girlfriend would help, but it's good information to have on hand and has lots of citations and sources. I'm sorry, but if she is that stupid, I personally wouldn't want her as a girlfriend. Especially after you showed her evidence that it is a pyramid scheme and she still wants to do it. Cut your losses early before her debt becomes your debt.